Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I'm taking a break. I just got back from doing a undercover look, well, a surprise look at my wife doing the laundry. I've got to tell you, my wife doesn't do laundry. We have a full-time job doing what we do. We're quite happy to have it that way, and so there's a lot of things that we don't do because for one thing, my wife doesn't make a great housekeeper, but she is so brilliant at what she does do well that why should I worry? When I first came to the hill, you have to understand that I didn't join a family of sophisticated Manilaites, okay? I joined a community of hilltop farmers. Give you an idea of the kind of thing. When we bought a washing machine, it's a twin tub washing machine, okay? And it's quite big. It came in a big box. Now, I'm not a he-man, strong man. I know what I can do with the muscle I've got, and I try to use my brains more than the muscle. Well, we got here, and there's what we call the tunnel, and the tunnel was not concreted at the time, and we got a washing machine, and it's there in the big box on the back of the sled, because it came up on a Carabao sled and was brought up by our brother-in-law, brother Rado. So I get off there and I think, well, we better go up and get some help. So before I can turn around, Rado has stripped the box off the washing machine and lifted the washing machine onto his shoulder, and he carried the washing machine up a very steep hill. I tell you how steep that is. Sometimes if there's been a wash down of mud with heavy rain, we don't make it up in the red, we don't make it up there, and the blue, if it's not in four-wheel drive, it will not get up that hill. He walked up the hill with a washing machine on his shoulder. So that's the kind of survival skills that they have. So I went down and looked at Beth, and yes, she was struggling along, and she was doing very well. And I was happy to leave it that way. Okay, so I've been having a chat, to move on, I've been having a chat with a subscriber friend of mine, Bob Roper, who has been echoing a lot of messages, a lot of emails that I get. Now, I've got to tell you, I have a full-time job. You know, people keep telling me, well, you could do remodeling, you could have quite a business going. Well, we have quite a business going, and we're really very happy with it, you know. Our YouTube channel gives us if it was only in dollars, it would not be worth doing. But when you convert dollars at the rate of, at the moment, I think it's 46 or 47 pesos to the dollar. When you convert to that exchange, we can do okay. And that and my modest pension, I used to get hauled over the coals, I can tell you, about saying this, but I always feel that my pension is so small that it's an insult, it's a disgrace to pensions. But couple that with the little we earn from the channel, we do fine, and we're able because of that, to do our mission work, which is the charity, which is, as you know, if you've been looking at our videos, it's about building houses for people who would never otherwise be able to stay out of the rain, even when they're in the house. So we try to focus on people who've got a lot of kids. Now, even that gets us criticism, because people say, well, they shouldn't have so many kids. Huh? Absolutely right, you know, and of course they're saying it from a pinnacle of perfection which no one else would possibly be able to live up to, certainly not I. So anyway, we're talking, and Bob says, I think that the depression that's going to come is going to be bigger than the last big depression, which was, as you know, you may have read about, was pretty tough. Now I got to make an observation here and say that actually the Filipinos, the average Filipino here in Bohol, not the clever, we know some astute, clever, pretty sharp Filipinos, people who went abroad, earned money, saved it, came back, started a business, and with what they'd learned abroad and with the money that they'd earned and saved there, they're doing pretty good. I think our friend Edgar was a seaman. Obviously he worked well with his wife and family, and they saved the money, and then they came back and started a hardware business. He is very astute when it comes to questions of hardware and construction. So he's doing really, really good, drives a very nice truck, and lives well. But they work very, very hard. Now, average, when I talk about average people, I'm talking about people like Nanai and my brothers and sisters in my now extended family. And I'm talking about them, and they don't earn a huge amount of money. That's a fact. So, in a way, they have learned to survive. And they've learned to survive at a level which foreigners are just not going to be able to cope with. So, as my friend Bob said to me, Terence, you're in the right place. Well, Bob, hate to say I told you so, but I actually did know that already. I know that here's the difference. Here's a grassroots, what I think of as a grassroots everyday person's way of judging whether you're in the right place. When I'm out in the yard, when I'm out anywhere, if I'm out taking a walk with the dogs, very, very occasionally I will see an airliner going above, a 747 or whatever it is, and it will be up at I don't know, 15,000 feet or 10 or 15, probably from Panglao, so it won't be at full altitude yet. But I can see a tiny airliner up in the sky, and it's going somewhere, and I don't want to be on it. That's the difference. Before, almost all of my life, I've looked up in the sky and seen an airliner and wondered, where is it going? And wherever it's going, I wish I was on it. Now, when I went from the UK to America, that actually was my dream. It was like Filipinos, who I think they have an extra DNA strand that's operating, which says go to America. And you are supposed to be in America, because they all want to be in America. I was a musician, so as a musician I wanted to be in America because people, great musicians, were in a way ordinary people in America. I had a friend of mine who, a trombone player, fellow trombone player, and he did a trip on the boats, on the cruises, which went from, I think, Dover or Southampton on one of the big cruise ships to New York. And they cruised, and it was about a 10-day trip, 10 days there, 10 days back, and a few days in port. And while he was there, he called up the Musicians Union and he asked for the phone number of his idol. And his idol was a legendary, incredible trombone player named Frank Rossellino. And Frank Rossellino back then was a working musician. And he called Mr. Rossellino up and said, "Sir, I've come from," I think he actually said that he was, well, my friend was Irish, Shay, and Shay told him, "I've come from the UK and I wondered if there was anywhere that I could hear you play." This is the incredible thing about Americans. The great Frank Rossellino, to a voice on the end of the phone, did no more than say, "Why don't you come along to a session that I'm doing today?" And he was doing a session, I think, that day, and he invited my friend Shay to go along on a recording session with the great Frank Rossellino. It's like, in a way, to a musician, it's like talking to God. And my friend did that, and Frank Rossellino was this just charming man. And so it's just a way of describing, in a way, that, I don't know, just like somebody who was an aspiring actor and called up, I don't know, called up some great actor, and the actor said, "We're shooting a scene, why don't you come along?" It would be like heaven sent. So I used to dream of going to America. Now, I never did meet anybody because I was hit by a certain irony that is very familiar from life, and that is, I dreamed for most of my musical life of going to America, but I was going at the end of a marriage, and I was taking my 6-year-old boy with me. And when I got there, I knew when I got there that I would not be able to play. And the irony was, in order to get the ticket money to go, I sold my trombone. It's an O. Henry story almost. So when I got there, I knew that I couldn't be a musician, because I couldn't leave my kid to be put to bed at night by someone else and to be woken up in the morning by somebody else. So I couldn't do that. So it meant, as my wife comes in and slams the door, it meant that I had to give up part of the dream. Well, it didn't turn out to be my dream, and I still used to look at aeroplanes and think, I wish I was on it. So here I am now, and for whatever is going to happen in this coming election, which, no matter what you say, it's my opinion that it will bring about, it will mean ground zero. It's going to be have a huge impact on the entire globe, is what I think. America is one hell of a special place. And it's a special place in the heart and the mind of the entire globe. And what we're in right now is a fight between good and evil. That's what I think. And we need to be closer to the Creator. We need to be closer to Jesus Christ. We need to be closer to God, to the Lord. We're going to need them like we've never needed them before. So, get ready. There's some big times coming ahead. Thanks for listening to me. Just decided to let my chocolate drink go cold while I'm talking to you. So I'm going to get off now. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now. Right, there's two videos.